course.
First thing every girl needs to learn is how to hold on to her man.
How the fuck is she gonna be alright, Paloma?
Every girl goes through this.
You acting like this is some regular shit right now, alright?
Now, Power sure do love to spring us surprises, and Palomar, who's a single mother who decided to sleep with her 15-year-old daughter's boyfriend, who then proceeded to say she needed to learn how to keep a man. Now that really is some crazy shit I don't think any of us expected to see or hear, but it's also something that's gonna land Palomar in a heap of trouble, because one thing you don't do is get in between Kanan and Raq, and Raq made that clear from day one.
I'm Corrine Ashford. I'm a friend of Kanan's. I think there's something you should know.
So I'm sure we all know what Corrine said to Raq, because we are going to see Raq warning Palomar, but it does also tell us maybe there's some animosity there between Corrine and Palomar, and maybe they've got a history where she's done something like this before, because how mad must have Corrine have been to go and tell Raq? Now it also does debunk those theories of Raq sending Palomar and Corrine to keep an eye on Kanan. But regardless of what happens with Palomar, Kanan's a character who's been pushed away and he's been forced to lean on others, and the only person to blame is Raq. But the consequences of Palomar's actions and her relationship with Kanan is something I'm going to circle back around to later on. Now, over the last week, I've been reading a book called The Dark Side of the Mind, written by Kerry Danes, and there's a particular chapter that's dedicated to power plays, and in this passage, she references when someone is lying, especially if the truth might land them in prison, or in Raq's case, losing Kanan, their brain is working overtime to make sure whatever comes out of their mouth is bulletproof. So if you were to ask a high-stakes liar a question, they'll need to make sure whatever they say has a ring of absolute truth to it. But while their mind begins to ponder a plausible answer, their body tends to instantaneously and unconsciously leak the truth, which is more or less through body language. And on many occasions, Raq has definitely been working overtime to bury the truth, and her reactions to certain situations definitely are telling. For example, lying to Kanan, attempting to bury more lies with the visit to Vernon Stark, which raised even more questions rather than answers. She tried switching her story and telling Kanan Howard was trying to send him down for $120. There was also the trip to the Catskills, which created even more distance, when this was an opportunity for both of them to be more open and honest. And at heart, Kanan was all about his mom and protecting her. At the beginning it was just about Raq and Kanan against the world. So where we watch Kanan wanting to be in the game to protect his mother, Raq slowly ruined that relationship. But this is also why I believe Kanan also had a soft spot for Tariq. He definitely saw a young Kanan in Tariq, with the way both were lied to and manipulated when they were young. But I also think it's worth referencing Kanan's scene with Laces.
You don't have any friends, do you? You find it hard to make and maintain human connection, right? Hard to be there for people you love, ain't it?
So Kanan in Power had no friends, because there are no friends in the streets, and he definitely found it hard to make and maintain human connection. And although Raising Kanan have come away from some of the plots and storylines in Power, this is one we can definitely relate to with a young Kanan. It was hard for Kanan to be there for anybody that he loved because of all the lies and manipulation which fucked with his head from when he was a kid. And so it really is easy for us to understand why he had trust issues and building these connections. And again, it was thanks to Raq. But it was also Kanan's downfall, because when he did find this human connection with someone, Tariq St. Patrick, this is what ultimately cost him his life. So as we're on the topic of Easter eggs and connections to Power, let's look at another. Now when Kanan eventually went out when he took down 4 cops with him, he got into a cop car and drove it off the road, where he eventually bled to death. And ironically, this is what was foreshadowed while Kanan was playing this video game. So these are some of the things we need to watch, considering Raising Kanan is set before Power. There are definitely going to be more clues, such as the conversation with Laces, why Kanan was able to kill family members, and also why he told Sean he needed to be careful of certain women. So this brings me back round to Palomar. Now Kanan knew he couldn't go to either his mom or his uncle after Freddy stole his stash, and with Palomar being there in a time of need, she was able to take advantage. But even though we're gonna see Raq warning Palomar with a gun to her head, maybe she is someone who steps away from Kanan. But the question is, can Kanan stay away from her? Let's not forget, Kanan is only 15 or 16, and even though we've seen a glimpse of him turning into the Kanan we saw in Power, there will definitely be a lot more mistakes made in the future, and Palomar could yet be more trouble because he'll still be around the apartment blocks because that's where Famous lives, and so it's hard not to see Kanan and Palomar crossing paths again. But where I mentioned Kanan may not be able to stay away from Palomar and her seduction, maybe Palomar doesn't hear Raq's warning. Maybe she's someone similar to Carrie, who was a sex addict in Power Book 2 Ghost. I mean, she didn't even bother to clean up the milk that Corrine threw. She went for round 2 with Kanan instead. But either way, Palomar's story won't be over regardless of Raq's warning, and it'll definitely be intriguing to see how she plays this, because Raq doesn't play when it comes to Kanan. And this is what Patina Miller said a while back on her relationship with Kanan. Raq will fight tooth and nail to make sure her son is aligned with her, if she's got a plot with him being a soldier in the business, and do sort of all the things that she does. You're gonna watch her go through all these different methods to getting her son back, and pointing a gun to Palomar's head is certainly one way of trying to keep Kanan on her side, but it's definitely not the approach she can take with Detective Howard. Now, we know from the synopsis from episode 8, it teases how there's going to be dark clouds on the horizon for Raq, with Kanan seeking comfort elsewhere, and one thing which will push him further in Howard's direction is his ability to help him when it comes to matters in the streets. Raq, in other words, said fuck Famous. He's got a mother of his own, and so Famous didn't need their help when he was arrested. But in this game, loyalty definitely goes a long way. If you scratch someone else's back, they'll scratch yours. But Raq just seems to be looking after herself, and she's so focused on expanding her organization, she's losing sense of her surroundings and those around her. Symphony's left her, who was nothing but loyal. Lou's turned to Cartier instead of Raq, which is a whole nother topic in itself. And Marvin's move with Tony backfired behind Raq's back, and things are about to get worse when and if Kanan opens the paternity results. Although, as I was rewatching season 1, Raq came across Kanan's bloody shirt, and so I wonder if she actually finds the paternity results before Kanan opens it. But either way, I expect this to explode before the season comes to an end, because I doubt they're gonna go into season 3 with this secret lingering between Kanan and Raq. Time is definitely ticking for their relationship, and as I mentioned in my breakdown of episode 8's trailer, a house is not a home, and a home is where the heart is, but Kanan's heart is definitely drifting away. But I'm intrigued to see what other crazy shit Raq has up her sleeve in terms of keeping a grips on Kanan, if she can, that is, because she is slowly exhausting every single avenue, and as Howard said,
What you gonna do when Kanan sees all your lies and mistakes, huh?
But that's a breakdown of how Paloma will find herself in trouble, but how Kanan may come back for more, but also how Raq is pushing him more and more in the direction of others. But drop all your thoughts down below on the Easter eggs to Power, and will Paloma stay away from Kanan, and will she hear Raq's warning? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and of course if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.